G'day everyone, welcome to the Fremantle SuperCoach preview, classic style of course. If you enjoy the content, click that subscribe button, and even if you're not the biggest SuperCoach player and you are here, AFL stuff is coming. I'm hoping to record it on the day that I'm recording this or the day after to come out over the weekend, so hang around for that. Plenty of stuff going on, plenty of stuff that I want to talk about as well. This isn't a SuperCoach channel, it is a footy channel, hence why it's called Daz Talks Footy, so stick around for that. Click that subscribe button. Click those bell notifications and we shall go from there. And let's talk about the Dockers. They did feature in my teams that I'm looking forward to watching the most in 2022. But are they the most relevant SuperCoach team? We're going to find that out. We've got a best pick, a watch list player, a no chance, a cash cow, every line. We assess the ruck stuff. You guys know what's happening right now. It's the sixth team that we are doing. So let's get into it. Let's start with the defense. The best pick for the defense is Luke Ryan, and not being talked about enough. And I understand, because if he doesn't have an actual fullback in the team, that's kind of going to be his average. So can you deal with 100 as a defender? You're kind of looking for guys who average more than that at the start of the year. And then rookies, you can get uber premium. So are you going to start with him? Who knows? But if Alex Pearce or Joel Hamling are fit, he is going to become an intercept player again. And that 99 is going to look real low. And he has pod written all over him, which we love to see. But if he does need to play a key position role, that's kind of going to be his average, which, again, isn't bad. But if that break-even starts to get a bit high and he starts to drop in price, he might be worth picking up. So is he the best pick for the preseason? I still think yes, because hopefully Freo have got their guys fit. But even if he needs to do a bit more for the team and less for SuperCoach at the start of the year, keep an eye on him, because he could get real cheap and be a premium by the end of the year, and you'll be able to bring him in. So Luke Ryan, definitely one to look out for, and the best pick. For the watch list, he's one of the best kicks in the league, and if you disagree, I have a video for you, and if you do agree, you get to enjoy. So check this out, and then we'll get into it.
Hayden Young tackle. And they're going to reload country with under 3 minutes to go. Oh, look at this kick into the middle of the ground. That is outstanding from Hayden Young.
Water leg. And he was doing amazing stuff in the AFL as well. He'd had 2 90s and a ton. And I know injuries have gotten in the way, but Hayden Young, of course, is the watch list player. And if Luke Ryan does need to be a key defender, they are going to need run and carry from the half-back line. And he's the one. The price is really awkward, which is why he's on the watch list, and like I said, needs to be fit. But if there is a player on the watch lists that I'm really excited to see, it's this kid, genuine gun, and looking forward to seeing his development in 2022. So I know if you follow the series along, you know this, but if you don't know, I also moderate a Facebook page for SuperCoaches called Serious SuperCoaches, so if you want to check that out on Facebook, you can. But I've now seen 3 teams. I hope they're trolling, but I've seen 3 teams with Nathan Wilson in them, and I'm here to tell you don't. I'm not going to have him, you're not going to have him either, so why? He had 2 scores of over 100 and didn't score in the 90s at all. That's it, case closed. Don't have Nathan Wilson in your SuperCoach team. The cash cow option is expensive for a cash cow, I know, but Heath Chapman is Hayden Young 2.0. Now, I actually think that he's a better mark than Hayden Young is. I think Young's a little bit quicker, but they're both electric by foot, and Heath had been doing impressive things whilst injured in 2021, a fully fit 2022, and that is just value. So, if you don't know a lot about Heath Chapman, beautiful kick of the footy. Underrated pace. He doesn't fly across the field, but really composed player and a really good kick. So if you are scared of some defensive rookies and you've got a bit of cash on you, not only is he not the worst option, he could be one of the better cheap pods in defense. Again, probably more of a watch list player because we need to keep an eye on him. Heath Chapman, good player and could be a fantastic cash cow. To the midfield now, and the best pick has to be the man that is going to be taking over this midfield for the next 8 years, and that's Andy Brayshaw. I expect Nat Fyfe to play a bit more forward. David Mundy's about 83 years old right now, so you can't rely on him to do it all. It is Andy B's. He's got Caleb Serong around him. You, of course, got those 2 veteran players. There's a few that can roll in there as well, but they did also get Will Brodie when Adam Chera went, so it could be a fantastic option there. Neil Erasmus and Matty Johnson, I'll talk about those in a tick as well. But There's one man, one consistent leader in there, and that's Andy Brayshaw. And they're also talking about him as perhaps a future captain as well. So why wouldn't you get him in? I know players last year loved it when he dipped below 480k, and they got him in, and he was basically a premium for the second half of the year. So he proved it last year, and I think he's going to burst out of the box. He's got pod potential written all over him. I love him. Andy B, fantastic pick. So my watch list player is Caleb Serong, who is working towards being the breakout star of 2022. He fits the mould magnificently, and with Adam Chera going, he's primed. He kind of reminds me of like James Worpel, who did roles outside of their natural ability to create a more well-rounded midfield type, and now we're sitting here wondering what they're going to produce. And I actually think Serong is going to outdo Worpel in this year, and I'll talk about Worpel in the Hawthorn preview, I'm sure. But Serong can find the footy, use it well, and be damaging. He won a Rising Star doing it. He was an effective lockdown player. So Justin Longmuir and the Dockers have got a player that they could genuinely let off the leash and explode. I can't wait to see what Serong does in 2022. Probably more draft relevant than classic relevant, but geez, he's one to keep an eye on. So for the first time, I'm actually doing two no chances, and that is Fife and Mundy, and ironically for completely different reasons. I can't trust Nat Fife to play all 22 games, so as I sit here, he's no chance to be in my team, and I don't want to put emotional investment in David Mundy towards the end of his career, because I just want to watch a genuine Freo champion finish his career, whether it's this year or next year. But if he does drop a 40, then that's fine. I can just watch him the next week and have no real emotional investment in him. I love David Mundy. I think every footy fan loves David Mundy, but I can't trust either of these two gentlemen. So my cash cow for the midfield is going to be the guy that I loved the most coming out of the draft, and that's the MJ, Matty J himself, Matthew Johnson. Colts player, Subiaco, loved him, loved his attitude. He gets to stay home state, can play on a wing, can play in the midfield. He's got the size, lays his tackles, kicks goals, and he's 117k. Oh boy, yes please, game on, let's do it. Man, I hope he plays early. If Will Brodie isn't available, if there is an opening in that midfield or on a wing, or if there's a spot for him and he's in, God, I hope he gets 6 to 8 weeks of footy. Get us that coin. I think he'd score really, really well, and then we'd be able to reap the rewards from that. So, loved him out of the draft. Of course, he was going to be the cash cow for here. Matty Johnson, hope we see him early because this kid is going to be a gun. If I was making a top 10 list of things I didn't expect in 2021 Supercoach style, then Sean Darcy finishing with a 118 average, boy, would that be near the top of the list. Genuinely insane, but he had a fantastic year, a best and fairest winning year. Can you believe that? What a man. There is a slight caveat on Darcy though. He did have a lot of his massive scores against teams that didn't have their number one ruckman. So, you need to be asking yourself, can he average 115, 120 around that mark against every good ruckman in the league overall? If you think the answer is yes, then you start him. If you think the answer is no, look elsewhere, and if that elsewhere is a Bruce or a Witts or a Sam Draper, and you want to cash them in and get an uber premium ruckman halfway through the year and start another premium mid on the field, awesome. Or if you think it's a Grundy, a Gawn, a Nat Nui, you're going to start there. The ruckman should be set and forget. It'll be tricky around the buys, but they need to be either set and forget or set and plan. You can't have in between, I don't think anyway. So I'm not saying he's a no chance. I'm saying that I am leaning towards not starting him than starting him. But if he averages close to that again, then you're absolutely flying. The best pick for Fremantle in the forward line is a guy that I've actually spoken about already, and that is Will Brodie. Mid-forward, so he's got that DPP, should be playing midfield at the Dockers. Otherwise, what the hell did they go and get him for? And at that price, we only need him averaging 70 or 80. Get that money up, cash him in, get an Uber forward, whichever out of sort of Duncan, Dunkley, I'm forgetting who the forwards are, Taranto, maybe Dusty or a Chad Wingard, whoever it is, Hawkins, Stringer, whoever those top forwards are, Will Brodie looks like a genuine stepping stone, and you're saving 300k. So, no real downside with Will Brodie here. Love the pick a lot, and wouldn't surprise me if he put out a 90 or 100 in the preseason game, and he's one of the more popular rookie forwards, and we can go from there. But Will Brodie, if you don't know a lot about him, You're going to be learning a lot over the preseason. Finds the footy. His knee-full form was insane. And Freo have got a good one there. I cannot wait for BT and his puns to come out about Jye, but I think he does need to play. You watch Freo at any time. The biggest thing they're missing is a key forward. Now, Jye doesn't need to come in and win the Coleman or anything stupid like that, because you've got Matt Taberner, who's an athletic second tall. You've got Josh Tracy, who I think Freo need to figure out what his role is, and I think they'll do that throughout 2022. They don't need to do that by round 1 or round 2. I think he'll play. And do they mould him into a Tom Hawkins type main forward who rucks there? Does he help out Sean Darcy when Darcy goes to the bench? Can they sort of rotate between bench, ruck and forward, the two of them? They'll need to figure all that out. But Rory Lobb ain't the answer. And Amiss, Taberner and Tracy, to me, looks like a forward line you can go into the future with, because by the time Taberner retires, Amiss and Tracy will have had good years in the system and can maybe, fingers crossed for Freo fans, and Freo fans will be crossing their fingers also, it might deliver them their first flag. But you've got to have faith. Jye Amiss, I think he can play early. And if you're thinking tall forwards aren't really a great choice, Max King was a very good rookie in 2020. And then he made the money, we sold him off, we got premiums. That's all we can ask for Jye as well. No chance. Hello, Michael Walters. Sonny's becoming a bit of a sook on the field, and I don't like it. The diving, the appealing to the umpires, it's a bit just... It almost feels tacky, and the reason why it feels tacky is because he's such a good footballer, and he has been for so long. Where is this coming from? You can't be getting grumpy with age, Sonny, although I'm nearly 24, and let me tell you, I'm bloody grumpy with age, so maybe that's the case, and that's absolutely fine, but that price and the fact that he could come out in round 1 and score 30 or 130, we can't be having that. Inconsistency in your SuperCoach team is a gamble, of course, but geez, that's frustrating. So, good player. He's been Freo's top 10 players of all time, but for 2022, just no. I'm not actually going for a cash cow for Freo's forward line. Again, it probably should be Amiss, but I just need to wait and see. There's not a hell of a lot of word coming out of Freo's camp about what's happening, or if there is, and you guys are researching a lot better than I am, I take my hat off to you. But I am going to wait and see, and I am going to do, maybe before the season starts, maybe like a rookie update, or the rookies that I like, or things like that. But you can put Jye Amiss in this section if you want, but he's the watch list for a reason, so I'm just going to move on. So for Daz's final word, as we sit here now, I've only got Matty Johnson in my team. I've got the queries about Darcy. Andy Brayshaw keeps staring at me like, I need to be in your team, so maybe he'll come under consideration. And I need to know about Pearce and Hamling's fitness. Otherwise, Luke Ryan could genuinely be my D3 or D4, depending on where I see some other defenders. But that's who's in contention. Will Brodie, again, is looking at me going, I need to be in the side, so maybe I need to do some finagling there, if that's a word. Boy, I hope it is. Comes off the tongue really well. But that's who I'm considering from Freo. Who are you considering? How do you think Freo are going to go this year? Comment below. Let me know. I'd really appreciate that. Stay safe, guys. Be well. Enjoy your weekend. Goodbye.